Connecting to cloud server. All right, so the webinar has just begun. I'm going to give it maybe 10 seconds for any other guests to come in before I start. But other than that, I don't know if there's going to be a way. Okay, so why don't I just begin? Hi, everybody. My name is Nathan. I'm the product manager here at zipBoard. And today I will be going over different integrations and tools that can be used in tandem with zipBoard, as well as any kind of custom API access. So why don't we just go ahead and get started? Okay. So the agenda for today is I'm just going to give you guys a quick intro into zipBoard, as well as the type of problems that we solve. Then I'll give you a demonstration of our current pre-existing integrations. After that, I'm going to give you a little look at what a potential API connection to zipBoard could do for you and what that could look like. And lastly, we're going to go over a Q&A session and some closing remarks. So to start with the problems, some of the most common challenges that we've noticed that are faced by our reviewers are delays between feedback and implementation. So sometimes your QA reviewer might get their review done, but just because of the lag, either in communication or centralization, there's often heavy delays between when those two can occur. There's disorganization due to disconnected systems, and that kind of feeds into the delay, right? So if you don't have your systems talking to each other, you might have your feedback data somewhere that may or may not be accessible to your implementer. Your reviewers are not enabled properly, and this could come in the form of just simply not having the right tools. We've heard stories of people basically taking screenshots, pasting them in PowerPoint and trying to mark up a review in PowerPoint and save that as a PDF. So overall, that's kind of a very clunky way in terms of the type of tools that they're given to do their review. We have multiple segments leading to disconnected review processes, and that's just overall having, different cycles being not centralized in the same place. You might have a legal team versus a finance team versus a design team taking your reviews. And if it's not centralized, you may end up wasting some time there. And lastly, working with external stakeholders. So oftentimes it's quite difficult to give the content to external stakeholders and then also for them to provide their feedback and then you in a timely manner, just because usually there's a lot of emails involved where it's just not very synchronized. So what is zipBoard? So zipBoard is a collaborative review tool, and we basically facilitate an optimized reviewing process. So what we do is we give our tools to reviewers to empower them in their review, and we give project managers an easy way to instantaneously organize that feedback that they got from the reviewers and then to assign that feedback as tasks. So zipBoard is used across a wide range of companies and in all kinds of different industries, from the e-learning industry to web development to consulting and even construction development. So we are quite a robust platform. We can handle all different types of content uploads that you need to review on, be it zip files for e-learning or PDFs or web pages, videos, and even images. We kind of can handle it all. And some of the benefits that you'll get from using zipBoard is you can access it from anywhere. You can upload content or sync with your DMS, mark up your uploads with a variety of tools. You can assign them to your team pretty effortlessly and instantaneously. You can share with internal and external stakeholders with just simply a click of a button or sending a link. And lastly, you can customize your review cycles to improve collaboration and just overall organization in your project. So getting on to more of the topic of this webinar, I'm going to discuss a little bit about our built-in integrations now. So the first integration that I would like to go over is Jira. So this integration is largely for task management, and it's largely for current Jira users. So we can integrate your zipBoard project with Jira to create and manage tasks directly in Jira. So basically all the new tasks that you generate through your markups in zipBoard will be added to your Jira project, where you can do everything that you can already do with it in Jira. So it basically facilitates the feedback portion instantaneously without any friction into your project. So here's an example of what that could look like. So right here, I'm using zipBoard and I'm marking up just amazon.ca, but it could again be any other type of file. And as you'll see, this comment will flow into zipBoard, and it'll be marked as a task here. And within a couple seconds, it should also flow in as a task into Jira. And because these two are integrated, there's a two-way integration across these with regards to statuses, at least. So here you can just check that your task has been integrated with Jira to ensure that it's actually in fact there. And the very cool thing about here is you can change the status in Jira, and it'll also change in zipBoard. And the same thing happens vice versa. So if you're going to go in here and change the status in zipBoard, you'll find that the status in Jira will jump back to reflect the changes in zipBoard. There's a tiny delay here just because of the API, but basically you have your project integrated fully, and you can go and click into these tasks in Jira, and you can do basically everything that you could normally to manage your project. Why can't I go next page? So the next integration that I'm going to talk about is with Rike. And so the integration with Rike is almost exactly the same as with Jira. So we have the same setup where you go into a project, you mark it up, and that feedback will get captured automatically within your zipBoard project, but also it will get captured in your Rike project. So I'm going to go ahead and show what that looks like. So here you are in Rike. I just created a test project here called integrations. And then going from the table view, you can see that the project I had just created, or the task I had just created, is also in Rike because I've integrated both of these. Now, the exact same thing happens again. So if you're changing task status here in Rike, you're going to have that reflected in zipBoard. And if you're changing the status in zipBoard, you're going to have that reflected in Rike. So it's not to say that you have to, manage both at the same time or one or the other. If you're perfectly comfortable with working with Rike, then all you have to do is just have zipBoard generate the tasks for you, and then you'll see them here. You can click into it, you'll see a screenshot of the task, you'll see a link to zipBoard if you ever need to actually access the task live. But this just allows you to have all your task generation feed directly into your project, as opposed to some third-party intermediary where, again, you have some QA reviewer putting it in a spreadsheet and then sending that spreadsheet over to you to get put into your project management tool. So the next integration I'm going to display is more of a general integration, and it's with Microsoft Teams. And this integration is quite an interesting one because it basically gives you the ability, if you don't have, let's say, a task management tool that you're using, but basically to manage your entire zipBoard project in an iframe within a channel in Microsoft Teams. So what that looks like is, here I've integrated my project with this channel in Microsoft Teams. And as you'll see at the top there, when I switch over to zipBoard, I am basically fully in zipBoard. So that means that I can see collaborators, I can add collaborators if I want to. I can look at the uploads, I can add tasks, I can add phases, I can basically do anything that I can currently do in a project. So even that goes as far as launching a review. So I can launch a review directly from the iframe in Microsoft Teams. And this is this exact same review that you saw. So here you are, the little cute dog comment. I can mark it up again. And what you're going to see there is that's going to appear in your iframe as well. So jumping back to it in a second. Hold on. So if you jump back, you should see in the task list, there is your prior comment and then your new comment. That's all again once in the iframe. You can change the task status. You can do anything you want to the task status, basically, or anything you want to the task. You can assign it, etc. And just, I guess, for a little bit of proof, here's jumping into a regular zipBoard project that's not in the iframe. And as you can see, everything that you've just done is reflected there. So lastly, I think the last thing I forgot to add earlier was that you can also do uploads directly through here. So if you want to upload any kind of content, here I'm uploading a PDF, could be a URL otherwise, or a zip file, whatever your use case is, you can just do it directly through this iframe. So it's kind of a nifty way to access zipBoard without ever leaving Microsoft Teams, basically, if you don't want to. So next integration, the next general integration I'm going to discuss is the Slack integration. And the Slack integration is more of just like a notification integration. So it's not for task management per se. It's more if you want to keep an eye on a project that you're managing, and it'll give you very quick access into the project afterwards. If you need to make any changes or if you need to review any of the changes that have been done by members of your team. So what that looks like here is I've integrated this Slack channel again with this project in zipBoard. And as you can see, all of the prior activity that has been done in the project has been reflected here. So this is the cute dog task. And here, if I go and I change the status just for a little bit more for the proof, you can see automatically it shows that the task is marked as resolved fixed. If I change the status one more time, it's going to change. It's going to give you a notification in Slack. And again, so Slack, you can take a look at the screenshot that was generated, or you can launch the actual task itself if you want a better look at all of the discussion or all of the changes that are going on with that task in particular. And again, so even let's say if you're using zipBoard for project management purposes, which some people do, let's say you're not generating reviews, well, any task created there will also still, without a screenshot, will still trigger a notification in the Slack channel. So next, I'm going to discuss integrating with zipBoard via APIs. And these are a bit more of a customized integration. And so the use case for this and really the benefits of using APIs is we can add markup capabilities to your workflow, either through embedded or just through share links. It allows you to retain your existing tools, so you don't have to switch any of your document management or your project management tools if you don't want to. And it can save you time and money on developing your own tool. So, oftentimes some people will come to us having created a beta version or a very rough version of a markup tool, but then the issue for them is that they have to upkeep it. They have to, continue to make improvements for it for the functionality. So we basically come in here and we save you time and money on doing that, as that's kind of our whole business. So with that, we can integrate existing platforms directly with zipBoard. So one of the customer integrations that you might find, well, that we have done is SAP, but basically we can create custom integrations with any of your current business tools. So that can be in the form of managing your uploads or launching the review tool, and basically just to ensure that whatever tool that you're currently using now, you can now also add the feature of marking up your documents and managing those comments and tasks accordingly. So Here's a very quick example of what an integration with zipBoard via APIs could potentially look like. So here I have a project, and on the left side and on the right side, I have just a different little tool that I've created that's connected to this project via APIs. So you can see with this functionality, we are able to create projects in people's organizations external to zipBoard. And it gives you a quite wide range of functionality as well. So in this case, we've only added links to be used. But again, you can have it such that potentially if you're working with PDFs, for example, your internal system will generate a share link, and then that share link gets shared with us. But basically, for a very quick example, when you jump into the example project created, you'll see that that content or that file has been uploaded into your zipBoard project. And you can see it's the amazon.ca link right there. And it's the same thing whereby you never have to actually jump into zipBoard. So here's an example of me just launching that project right away directly from the third party. So this is, again, how we can give you the ability to use our tools without ever having to, or not ever having to, but with much less, with much less need to actually interact with our tool. So here, because this is a share link, the comment that just came in would come in as an external feedback. We do have the ability to make it a task if it's an external feedback, or we have the ability to also have that task managed by your own internal platform. However, again, for this use case, we had to draw up just something a bit quicker. And so here we are, we've compelled that to be a task, and you can now do basically everything that you could with a regular task within zipBoard. And if your platform that you're using does have task management capabilities, we can have this task, slotted in there as well. So you don't necessarily always just have to come back into zipBoard. We will try our best to facilitate just full smooth integration where you're using your platform and not having to jump into zipBoard. And so, yeah, that's like a very quick example. So again, this tool that I'm demonstrating here doesn't have task management capabilities, but if it did, it's something that you guys could work with. So how we can integrate your existing tools with zipBoard largely will be, at least this through APIs, will be on a case-by-case scenario. So if you're looking to integrate with any of your existing tools, just please contact us directly so that we can set up a call and discuss your needs. And again, some integrations will require task management, others will just require marking up capabilities, others will require document uploads. So it really is a unique situation from case to case. But again, if this is something you're interested in, just feel free to reach out to either myself or Bhavya or anyone on the team, and we can set up a call. So now that I've come to the end of this presentation, I was wondering if there's any questions that anybody had. Bhavya, there's a question. Can you integrate with ClickUp? Currently, that's not a predetermined integration that we have, but it certainly is one that we could work on. I think, Bhavya, maybe you might have a better understanding of that with regards to, I guess, the technical side. But basically, we can integrate with basically almost any third party. It just is a matter of time, cost, and what the specs and the requirements are.
Yeah. So it's hi guys, my name is Bhavya and I'm the CEO of zipBoard. I quickly want to jump in and say we are planning on building more integrations, and we want to build them based on use case and feedback from all of you. So ClickUp definitely should be an easy integration for us on the lines of Jira. Or I don't know if there are other ways in which you can see zipBoard integrating with ClickUp. We definitely would love to hear from you, and maybe we can set up a separate call to understand what an ideal workflow would look like for zipBoard and ClickUp to integrate.
Okay, are there any other questions? I'm gonna give it like maybe 30 more seconds in case someone's typing. But if there are no other questions, then I just, in closing remarks, we can basically help you with your review process to help you automatically capture feedback, easily integrate with your workflow, and just basically help you also manage your clients, manage your feedback, as well as the big crux of this presentation being integrate with any other of your current existing tools. So thank you for attending, and feel free to send us any questions to bhavya@zipboard.co. And yeah, thanks so much, guys. I will, or can somebody end the webinar? I don't know if I can.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.